What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Tuesday's 7-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel and Yahoo. Today is not going well. How's your night going, Ryan?
It's the Bucks really aren't doing damage. The Knicks and Bruce Brown Jr. are taking people to the promised land. The Knicks are absolutely rolling. I think there might be 5 or 6 Knicks in the optimal. If I'm not mistaken, it's pretty wild. 5 or 6 might be pushing it, but
like 3.
At least Robinson and Quentin Grimes will be there, and Julius Randle.
And Evan Fournier.
Wouldn't shock me if Fournier. There you go. There's 4, and then
there's 4.
Kemba Walker might also get there. I have no idea, but what a wild slate. And Josh Giddey on the other side is balling the F out.
I did not like today. So we're going to just have you guys all hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. This is going to be the shortest intro ever because I literally got my ass handed to me. Doesn't feel good, but you know what? That's why we bounce back tomorrow. We have a 7-game slate. I'm looking forward to it. Literally have nothing else to say. You ready to go, my buddy?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready. Let's ride.
I think you're a little thrown off by how short and abrupt this has been at the top.
Yeah, I didn't expect just a rough day to just make a short intro. I thought
I'm going to get murdered on DraftKings. I'm going to get murdered on FanDuel. I'm going to get murdered on Yahoo. I'm literally probably because of our friend Patrick Mills, because of this overtime game, New York and OKC, that I have almost none of. It's just going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be my worst day of NBA DFS, bar none this year.
It's all good. That means It's time to bounce back. That's why it's daily.
Yep, that is exactly it. And also, don't bet the under of 41.5 points plus rebounds plus assists for Julius Randle, because all you're doing is talking him into a 30-plus point triple-double. Let's get to it. Top end of guard here, Luka Doncic on this slate. He's 12K. James Harden, I don't think, is going to debut for Philly, although we saw a lot of lovely pictures with him wearing the number 1 jersey, laughing, kicking it with Paul Millsap, with Tyrese Maxey, with Joel Embiid. Everybody was, they were having so much fun. I don't care. If he plays 10-6 would be great. John Morant, 9,500 there. He is a guy who popped up as questionable on this evening injury report. If he ends up being out against the Pelicans, massive news on this slate would be just Desmond Bain, D'Anthony Melton to the roof. Oh, and Jaren Jackson Jr., of course. Trae Young, 9,300. We've got Paul George, who's out, obviously. LaMelo Ball, 9,100. They priced him up. And then our friend, Chris Paul, 8,800. I don't know why his tag went down $400 against the Clippers, a team that, he has revenge in his heart against the Clippers every time he faces them, but seems like a good guy along with Devin Booker, who's at 8,400. My God, are they going to be popular? It's almost like they're getting penalized for playing Orlando and blowing them out by 27 points. Those two guys are going to be crazy popular on DraftKings, along with Tyrese Halliburton against Milwaukee. Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, looking at the top end of point guard over there on our not sponsored DraftKings.
I was going to say, the TV. There's that's Yahoo. There we go.
But looking over at what's happening over there in DraftKings, there's a ton of spend up options. 7-game slate. We're going to be dealt with another situation where Giannis might not play. Budenholzer didn't make a clear cut if Giannis is going to play until
you called that, by the way. Just wanted to give you props.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if Milwaukee's going to come out and win the game. They were 16-point favorites still, and they still might lose. They might still lose. But looking up top, there's John Morant, 9,500. I like spending down to him. I think he's priced now pretty solid where you can go to him. I prefer him to Trae Young. But I think it'll be tough not to play Drew Holiday against an Indiana spot if there's no Giannis. I like him even if Giannis plays at 7,700. It's how great of a matchup Indiana is. LaMelo Ball, 9,100 in a Minnesota spot. Should be fun. A little back and forth action. I've said any Charlotte game environment feels like a Coors Field game environment. It just goes. And
number one in pace in the NBA.
Sorry?
Number 1 in pace in the NBA.
Yeah.
Houston, number 2.
Yep. It makes a ton of sense just to target those game environments. To spend down a little bit in the mid-tier, we now have no more Chris Duarte until the All-Star break. We saw Lance Stevenson take advantage of that situation. He's 4K. I think you can consider him as an option. Now, Pat Bev just got an extension, $13 million per year. That's a pretty significant extension.
The culture in Minnesota, my dude. I told you. He's like, again, I'm lucky because, oh, by the way, Jackson, Mann, Morris, Batum, Zubats, exactly what we expected from the Clippers. Starting lineup just came out, and that game starts in 20 minutes here as we're recording this. Wanted to just let you know that in case I don't have to change anything. But Patrick Beverley, when he was at the Clippers, I cheered for him because it was enjoyable to watch him. I kind of inherited the Clippers, but I'm a ride and die Minnesota guy. That's kind of unfortunately what I am in terms of sports. $13 million a year to change the culture of your basketball team and make you a winning team for the first time in 17 years. I'm okay with it.
Fair enough. But other guard, I think he's a pretty solid option in that Charlotte game environment. Outside of that, we'll keep an eye on the situation with Giannis and what guard value might open up. But I think those are rock solid guard options to go to on tomorrow's slate.
All right, we go to FanDuel 11-5 Luka. He's been out of his mind, but he's playing Miami. He's not playing the Clippers, which he does really good against the Clippers. I don't really know how to quantify that. I just know that it happens a lot. Zubats guarded him almost that entire game, which was pretty fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. Let's keep it moving. James Harden, if he plays 9,700 at shooting guard, that would be fun. But Trae Young, they priced him up to 10-2 up against Cleveland. And that's pretty fascinating because I don't think he'll be popular, but you get a Trae Young at like 5%, 6% on FanDuel. That could be fascinating, but I think a lot of people are going to land on Chris Paul, 9,600, but especially LaMelo Ball, 8,700, going up against Minnesota. $13 million a year is not going to have Patrick Beverley be capable of guarding LaMelo Ball. I don't care how many times he smacks the floor. It's not going to happen. Talk to me about point guard and shooting guard over on FanDuel.
Yeah, looking at the point guard and guard spot on FanDuel, there should be enough value to just get in the guards you want here. It's tough not to love LaMelo Ball at 8,700. In that same game, Anthony Edwards is 8,400. Those guys both stick out just because of the game environment we have presented to ourselves. Spending up for Luka or Trae Young is fine. I prefer actually John Morant. If we get him at 10K playing a New Orleans team, that will be on the back end of a back-to-back. Now, if you want to spend down a little bit, Pat Bev is 5,500 here. He's all right. Steals upside for him. I think we got to keep an eye on the situation with Giannis. We might get another Drew Holiday option against Indiana, so definitely have no issues here. Chris Middleton comes in at a very favorable price tag himself as well on FanDuel. $7,600 makes a lot of sense to go to him. And they finally priced up Terry Rozier to 7,500, but I think he still might be in play even at that elevated price tag just because of the new situation there. He's kind of playing the backup point when LaMelo's not on the court. That's an option to consider as well. Devin Booker, 8,800 in a Clippers team. Obviously, D-Book has the upside. We've seen that time and time again this season. Another guy who I want to point out is CJ McCollum, 7,800. He's been playing well over there now in New Orleans. So I've been trying to target his upside games and hope before the public catches on. He was sub 5% owned. And if you get sub 5% CJ McCollum until he pops up, I think he'll pay off for you.
I agree. CJ McCollum, we've talked about him in this Pelican situation. Pretty darn good. A lot of the same characters. No Hart, no NAW, no Zion there. All these guys. I mean, you're going to have all the ability for CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram to run wild. I played a lot of Brandon Ingram tonight. Guess what? It's not going to matter. Let's head to Yahoo because otherwise I'm going to cry. By the way, $15, 50K Tuesday Night Baller with 33.3% of the field getting paid out tomorrow. Lock is not until 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. You need to check that out. I do enjoy playing a lot over on Yahoo. I think this tournament is as good as it gets for a 7-gamer starting up at 7:30. You're going to want to check it out. But all of that aside, let's head to guard here. Luka Doncic, $55. John Morant, if he plays, $45. LaMelo, $42. If LaMelo, I would say LaMelo, but I'm just kind of looking at John Morant. I'm getting the impression we'll have half an hour to be able to kind of adjust our lineups based on when that news comes out. There's 3 games locking at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And then you've got 3 games locking at 8 p.m. And this is one of them. And I think Desmond Bain, $24, DeAnthony Melton, $17, have been aggressively priced up in order to account for the possibility of John Morant. and yet it's still not enough. If John Morant's going to be out, I want to get to both of them in bulk. I think even on Yahoo, looking at the mid-range, Darius Garland, $30. He's back there going up against Trae Young. I think that's very advantageous. 31 for CJ McCollum, but Drew Holiday, 31. If there's no Giannis again, he'll be the most popular guy in that mid-range. Talk to me about guard on Yahoo because it looks like pricing is fantastic over there.
Yeah, and I'm just going to take it over from the spot where you said Drew. Tomorrow will be the biggest test for recency bias. Drew Holiday was very disappointing for his just overall production. He's not going to be anywhere near the winning lineups, I don't think. Chris Middleton might crack the triple-double, barring on what happens in these final few minutes. But on Yahoo, at that price tag, he's a great play with or without Giannis. He's phenomenal without Giannis, and even if Giannis goes, I think he's a pretty darn solid play. I don't mind him whatsoever. Tough to spend up on Yahoo. They've done a great job with the pricing. Now, if we want to spend down a little bit, we saw Grayson Allen pick up quite a few minutes. He played well today. $12 Grayson Allen, shooting guard spot against Indiana. No issues going to him. Now, the next tier of guys in a little bit of the middle range. Desmond Bain was pretty outstanding if there's no John Morant. He's okay if Morant goes. I think that's an option to go to. D'Angelo Russell is $28. Obviously, the upside is there within him. Darius Garland is only $30. I know it's been in and out of the lineup of late. Obviously, Karis LeVert has entered. They'll figure out the chemistry. But Darius Garland, remember, he was a 9K player on the other sites. $30 seems a pretty low price tag to target his teammate Karis LeVert in that Atlanta spot. I think one of those guys can be very good. If you want to spend $4 extra for Tyrese Halliburton, I have no issues doing so just because of how well he gets other people involved as a facilitator. Now, keep an eye in the situation in Dallas. If Dinwiddie plays, that might affect a lot of things over there in Dallas. So keep an eye on that situation. That's a pretty fluid situation where it's tough to have any insight of how that's going to play out. If he's even going to start, he's going to come off the bench. I don't know what Jason Kidd's going to do.
Not a fluid situation. Signing up at Yahoo. Deposit $10 or more. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. It's really as simple as that. If you guys have been listening to this for a while, most of you have signed up at Yahoo, I hope, and taken advantage of this free month. But if you're one of the few, one of the people who haven't signed up yet, now is the time. You get every single sport we offer behind the paywall. Yes, NFL is over, but NPA is in full swing. We have MMA, PGA, NHL, which has just been smashing of late here as well. All you do is deposit $10 or more, play in any of the paid contests on Yahoo that have the lowest rake, bar none, of any site in the entire industry. And then you get this free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. So sign up, stop guessing, start winning. Join us here at Awesemo, but do it through this Yahoo promotion, which is the best we have ever ran in our company's history. See how efficient that was? Look at me. I am all about efficiency today, Ryan. You know what else? Oklahoma City just beat New York. And so all these players from New York that are optimal. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They lost anyway. I guess you still get the fantasy points. Absolute effing joke. Let's talk forward. Giannis, if he plays 11-8, we'll see how that ankle's doing. Jason Tatum, 9,700. That's kind of intriguing. But Philadelphia, tough spot. They ended up keeping Matisse Thybulle. They have Tobias Harris. Different there than Seth Curry on the floor. We got Jimmy Butler, massive piece of news, 8,600. If he plays, I want to roster him at 8,600. No Tyler Hero. We already know that for a fact. But if no Jimmy Butler is there, there are no rules to how many Miami Heat players you're going to play, specifically Bam Adebayo at center. But Jaylen Brown, 8,300. My boy Brandon Ingram, 8,200 is definitely viable. But I want to talk about Anthony Edwards because at 8K, coming off of 52 and 61.25, the guy in his sophomore season is starting to come alive again. It is a beautiful thing against Charlotte, which is the Coors Field of the NBA, as Ryan would call them. I think Anthony Edwards at 8K is going to be somebody I'm way overinvested to. Oh, and Chris Middleton in the event that there's no Giannis. Talk to me about forward on DraftKings.
Yeah, looking at the forward spot on DraftKings, man, if there's no Giannis, it's going to be the Middleton show, 7,800. I think he just missed out on a triple-double tonight. The upside of him having 50-plus.
Portland just went on like a 15-0 run to close that game. They're up 122-103. It was just 107-103, and now they're up by 1 million.
Wow.
I was watching that. It was pretty nuts.
That is a wild turn of events over there.
Greg Ehrenberg, don't hit the cash out button. Continue.
He's gonna regret that. That's gonna be a tough. I would lose sleep over something like that.
I would lose sleep over that too. For those who don't know, Greg Ehrenberg, one of the best at betting. The moment news drops, he was able to get a nice ticket in on the money line of Portland that he cashed out for a good profit, but not even remotely close to the amount of profit he would have had if he had played the Portland money line plus 800.
Rough beat. I got a feel for him. That is tough to swallow for Mr. Greg there. But let's look at the forward spot on DraftKings. It's going to be Middleton, but I have no issues if you want to play Anthony Edwards at 8K. I like going to Anthony Edwards at that price tag against Charlotte. And Jimmy Butler is priced fine at 8,600. I think the upside is definitely on the table. No Tyler Hero. I don't mind going to him. In that same Charlotte-Minnesota game, Miles Bridges, 7,600. Charlotte's been running a condensed rotation. Got to have interest there. Brandon Ingram has the upside there. We haven't seen it yet with CJ McCollum. There will be a game where Brandon Ingram pops off. I know he might not be pressing too much shooting, but if the price keeps falling, that's when you want to take advantage of that situation. Looking at other guys here, look, if Giannis goes against Indiana, he's fantastic, 11-8. There is some reason to be cautious there with some of the coach speak, but we'll see what Budenholzer ends up doing on a back-to-back. Could be a situation where they just rest the whole farm. Budenholzer has a tendency to do that. Looking a bit lower, no one is that outstanding right now. If Luke Kennard remains out, I think you can sprinkle in some Amir Coffey at 3,600. Jalen Smith played a handful of minutes last time at 3,900. He
played a lot of minutes, and there's no Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, he started the second half last game. So Jalen Smith at 3,900 in a Milwaukee spot. It's a minutes play. So I think you can sprinkle some of him in.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep going there. O'Shea Brissett, 5,400 is going to be massively popular. I don't think there's any question about that. I think you got to be able to sprinkle some of these other guys in. Jalen Smith, 3,900. I think he might start at the 4, which is crazy. Again, he started alongside Goga Batadze with O'Shea Brissett playing the 3, Buddy Hield at the 2, and Halliburton at the 1. Of course, we got to wait on Brogdon news. Brogdon being inserted into this lineup is a disaster. Like, it's an absolute disaster in every single sense of the word. But if he's not there with no Chris Duarte, a lot of these numbers are still very advantageous. Even your boy Buddy Hield, 6K on DraftKings. I don't know how much attention he gets on a 7-gamer. We shall see. A lot of that ownership will be absorbed by Chris Middleton if there's no Giannis, Desmond Bain, small forward eligible if there's no John Morant. Lots of moving pieces here on this slate. Anything else for you from forward on DraftKings?
Looking at the forward spot on DraftKings. No one else. I think we can move on.
All right, Giannis 11-4 over there on the old blue site. Jason Tatum 10-1. James Harden 9,700. Again, I don't think he's playing here. We shall see. Paul George is never playing basketball again. It seems like. Well, he'll be back. Hopefully for the playoffs here, because I want to see this Clippers team try to make a run here. I think there's some fun pieces there, but Norman Powell could be out for a long time too. Huge bummer there. Jimmy Butler, 8,900. I will play him if he's playing. I will not if he's not. How about that for analysis? But the guys I really am focused on: Brandon Ingram, 7,800. Chris Middleton, 7,600. Miles Bridges, 7,400. Kind of a great grouping of players, but Desmond Bain, 6,300. He's already been popular above expectation on FanDuel of late. There's no John Morant. How much Desmond Bain are you willing to get to against the Pellies?
Yeah, pretty significantly above the field, but I think my eyes would fall to more like a DeAnthony Melton or a Tyus Jones potentially than Desmond Bain, just because of what the salary you can do. Because I think Bain is priced kind of towards the ceiling, even with or without Morant. I think he's just a rock solid player type of situation. But looking at the small forward power forward spots over there in FanDuel, yeah, I love spending it for Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, and Giannis if he goes. It's going to press me into a situation of seeking value. Middleton, if no Giannis, and actually Middleton's pretty solid even if Giannis plays, just because of how great a matchup against Indiana is. There's not much great value here. It's rough. Usually a spot where we can try to find some spend down options. There isn't much here. mean, if you're looking for sub 4K guys who are going to play a ton of minutes, there is Danny Green. There's potentially Isaac Okoro. PJ Washington days are thin with Montrezl Harrell there. Another guy you can take some chances on. I think Bobby Portis, if there's no Giannis, is pretty solid at 6,600. It's kind of rough. Not much value has opened up right now. We saw Ibaka start today. Just trying to figure out the situation. What ends up happening with Giannis will be the key to tomorrow's slate. But there's not much value right now. I mean, mid-tier, there's a $5,200 DeAndre Hunter. That's kind of gross. But damn, it kind of sucks. I think you can play in that Charlotte game, Jared Vanderbilt, 4,500 as I seeked out power forward only. He might be low owned just because of that situation.
I mean, as weird as it is to say, it's a 7-gamer. It's a lot different than what we were looking at today. But in the event that there is no Giannis, Jordan Nwora was going to be crazy popular today until Ibaka ended up starting. He's the min like everywhere still on DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo. I think if you're looking for a guy that could play 20 minutes, let me double check and see exactly what those minutes were here tonight. Because I know I saw him on the floor. He was playing decently well for the minutes that I saw him in. Ibaka got off to a good start and then just fell off the planet. But we still ended up getting 24 minutes of Nwora. He went 7 for 14 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 17 points, 3 rebounds, and an assist. I think you could do worse than him with the min everywhere. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I love Nwora. I still got to quite a bit of him because of the salary situation. It just helped me jam in the other studs on Milwaukee. It didn't matter because I didn't have enough of the Knicks, but
right.
It's a salary.
But I'm saying he's going to matter a lot more on a 7-gamer here that is pretty value scarce right now.
Right now, yeah. And as we know, things change really fast, and I think Nora's a great play. I think you can definitely go to Nora at that
I'm going
place.
to circle him and make sure that I get to some, especially if he's not starting. Like, that would actually be a good thing. Because if he's starting, I think he'll be pretty popular.
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point there.
Jason Tatum, $41 on the top. And, well, Giannis, $56. Again, he's got the big O next to him. But if he plays there tomorrow, obviously $56 is expensive. But we should find some room in tournaments to be able to get to a little bit. Jason Tatum, big drop off to $41 for him there. Brandon Ingram, 33. Jimmy Butler, 39 there. I'm kind of gravitating towards guys like, again, the Clippers will be on a back-to-back going up against Phoenix here. Pretty tough spot here. They haven't even started their game against. I mean, I can't think of a harder back-to-back than in Golden State in Phoenix right now. So have fun, Clippers. But Luke Kennard ended up sitting tonight here. If he ends up being out again, you could still take some shots on a lot of these guys. We've got Terrence Mann at $13. Nicholas Batum starting here tonight. He's $10. He would be viable tomorrow if he's starting again, regardless of blowout concerns or anything else there. We have Marcus Morris at $19. Number of Clippers. I wanted to bring them up because that's the only game similar tonight. The only game that locks after 5:30 p.m. Eastern, or sorry, what is that? 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for this slate. It's a 2-hour difference. You have 8 p.m. and then 10 p.m. is that Clippers Phoenix game. Obviously 7 p.m. my time. But looking at the Clippers, is there anybody that kind of catches your eye on Yahoo at the forward position?
Yeah, looking at the forward spot on Yahoo. I mean, it's just we're dealing with the best fantasy player potentially of the whole time with Giannis not playing. So that's just going to be the center of our slate tomorrow, and how we maneuver around that will dictate our lineups. And if he's out, it's going to be yet again Middleton, and you just roll with that. But now if he plays, I think it's tough to jam him in, but the upside against Indiana. Discounted Jimmy Butler, discounted Anthony Edwards, I like more than Jason Tatum. And then in the next tier, guys, we get a Jaren Jackson Jr. if he stays out of foul trouble with no John Moran at 29. I like him a lot more than I do the similar price Tobias Harris. Miles Bridges in that same Charlotte-Minnesota game. No issues if you fall on a guy like him. But spending down here, I think Buddy Hield at $16 is fine. Jalen Smith is $11. So there's some value here on Yahoo to target, but it's still a little bit rough. I think Lance Stevenson, another guy at 14, just because of the minutes he's playing. And Terrence Mann, it's a Phoenix spot. It's tough. Back end of a back-to-back, so I guess proceed with caution.
Question mark? There's a Ron Burgundy joke there somewhere, but anybody who's watched Live Before Lock knows that I read everything on the teleprompter. Let's head to center over on DraftKings, shall we? Joel Embiid, 11-6. Karl Anthony Towns, 9,800 against Charlotte, and Mason Plumlee and Montrezl Harrell. That sounds fun for me to roster a lot of Cat tomorrow, no doubt about it. But I mean, Joel Embiid's been a god. No question there. Bam Adebayo, 7,900. If there's no Jimmy Butler, fire him up at will. His assist rate shoots through the moon, and there's no Tyler Hero. I'm already pretty interested at 7,900, but it would become even more so. Valanciunas on a back-to-back here. Jared Allen, 7,600. We got Big Rob Williams, 7,400. Bobby Portis, 6,700, a little bit inflated. Not sure how much I'd land on there, even if there is no Giannis, even though we know what that upside can be. For me, I'm really looking down here at this Ivica Zubac's range. We got 4,500 for him. I don't know. Against Phoenix, Ayton, he should be on the court quite a bit. And these Clippers minutes are always pretty volatile, but he's played 26 and 33 against against the Dallas Mavericks the last 2 games. He was guarding Zubats for a lot of that. Not that he was super effective, but not many people are effective against Doncic. He's pretty good at basketball, but it ended up leading them to victory. So I can't say that that's a negative for them in that last game. He's somebody, we'll see what those minutes look like here tonight, but always some variability that exists there. It's just hilarious to see Marc Gasol even listed at 3,700, considering he's in Spain. He's apparently on the Memphis DraftKings. Why is he even listed there? That's the weirdest thing ever. Talk to me about center on DraftKings.
I was like thinking in my head, did Marc Gasol come out of NBA retirement?
Absolutely not. I'm just looking at the DraftKings board, and I was like, why is he there? He's in Spain, enjoying his life.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to enjoy your life from what I've heard. But
oh, my dude. I'm married. I'm going to be quiet. You talk about center.
Well, yeah, looking at the center spot, right? And over there, I mean, spending up for Joel Embiid, let's go. I mean, he's been an MVP now. I think he has to be the MVP frontrunner. Makes a lot of sense to go to 11-6 Joel Embiid. Now, tough to really spend on. He's the opportunity cost at the center slate. Valanciunas 7,500. Team that kind of let him go after a pretty strong season. Strong season and a half there. I like going to Valanciunas tomorrow at 7,500. Bobby Portis, if no Giannis, pretty exciting to go to. DeAndre Ayton, we haven't seen a huge game from him yet. It's going to happen. $6,600 Ayton, I like a decent amount as well. Really don't want to spend down, really. I don't see outstanding value. Clint Capella has fallen off the face of the earth. Nick Batum has center eligibility. Feels weird to look at that, but yeah, it's a rough center slate. I think Bam Adebayo might be sneaky sub 5% owned at $7,900.
Agreed. I like all of those plays here. Let's talk FanDuel, because FanDuel did a couple interesting things from looking at this afternoon, or this evening, obviously. This afternoon, if you're, well, no, for me, afternoon. What am I talking about? Let's keep going. FanDuel, it's very interesting. We have Joel Embiid 11-6. Obviously, he's fantastic. Karl Anthony Towns 9,900. That's pretty comparable. Both of them are pretty comparable to their DraftKings plays. Bam Adebayo's all the way at 9,500. I'm not really looking that direction. If Butler's out, maybe a shot or two, but probably not worth it for me. I'm looking down here a lot further, because if I'm going to bypass Embiid and Cat, I think I'm just going to mess up roster construction. And there's one guy I want to get your opinion on. It's a $4,200 Goga Batadze, and this guy has been a disaster, like an absolute disaster. But FanDuel really is almost making me have to click on his name a couple times, along with, and again, don't make fun of me, but Paul Millsap is 3,500, power forward center, and he didn't really play. He wasn't in the rotation whatsoever for Brooklyn. But I mean, I don't see anybody else that I would even click on at 3,500. Maybe Willie Hernangomez 3,700, but I doubt it. 3,500 Paul Millsap or 4,200 Goga Batadze. Any interest whatsoever, considering all of the unknowns that could exist around either of them?
It's got to be Batadze if he starts, but he's been so inconsistent of late. But I think that's the uncertainty you want to take advantage of when everyone's off of him. And I think if you just get a little bit above the field, I think you're in a good spot to catch a Batadze upside game, because he clearly has it. And if there's no Giannis, definitely helps his pathway of getting there.
Yep.
But yeah, proceed with caution. Millsap, I do think will be in this rotation a decent amount. I think he's going to play some game.
I'm getting at
18 to 20 minutes. So I have no issues if you fall on a guy like him.
God, Paul Millsap. That's the center position. You don't want to like click on anything. Obviously, Jonas Valanciunas is 6,700. You can go there, but I think that's going to be pretty popular again. Zubats is 5,800. I mean, it is like you play Embiid or Cat, or you drop down and play Batats and Millsap, or like these power forward / centers. Good talk. Glad we had it. To center we go on our sponsor, Yahoo. Rounding this out, my friend, Joel Embiid 54, Karl Anthony Towns 40. We got Jonas Valanciunas 31 here. Going a little bit further, though, DeAndre Ayton $25, Kevin Love 18. He's been really playing lower minutes of late. I don't know what Cleveland's doing anymore. I don't even know what to say as far as what his minutes are doing, but Zubats is at 16, 15. I'm not going to play Goga. I definitely want to try to take those shots 4,200 on FanDuel. I don't see anything on the super cheap end here. What are you prioritizing on Yahoo to round us out?
Yeah, looking at our Yahoo option, it's got to be spending up for Embiid if we can get enough salary relief, even at that elevated $5,400 price tag. I have no issues if you do so. But I really like DeAndre Ayton. I had $25. Bobby Portis at 24 is pretty exciting to go to as well. So Keep an eye on that situation. It's a pretty exciting one to take advantage if there's no Giannis. Jared Allen, Robert Williams both have upside to take something down. Now, if you want to spend down a little bit, it's hard to really spend down. I think $16 Montrezl Harrell in that game spot. Game environment is pretty exciting, I think.
And John Collins is going to be out again. Clint Capella, somebody that $21. It's frustrating. He ended up playing 31 plus minutes. I bet he's pretty popular, but $21. If he's going to be popular, there's a lot of paths where Okongwu ends up on the floor quite a bit, or against Cleveland here. I mean, I got to think Capella is going to be out there quite a bit, though, no?
Yeah, it was kind of all over the place. We saw Danilo Gallinari start that game.
Yes.
It was awful. We saw the Bogdanovich show.
Yep.
The thing is, Onyeka Okongwu's there, and he's been playing really well.
Yep, agreed. Okongwu has been really good here. 31 minutes, though, Capella. If you told me I could get 31 minutes, great, but it seems as though he had been playing low 20s for a while there. Okongwu is pretty good at basketball. That'll do it, everybody. That is the NBA Slate Starter for this Tuesday episode. Ryan, my guy, this is like the worst day. It's only gotten worse since we started the show. I really don't know what happened with this slate. You know what? I'm ready to go on to Tuesday. Any final words for the people?
No, man. It's one of those slates. I mean, these slates are going to happen where process over results is the motive you take with it. And there was a handful of guys who had fluky outcomes with significant ownership. There's enough ownership to really burn you, and it's just a rough go. When you get a combined 8 stocks from Bruce Brown and Mitchell Robinson, man, that's wild. And then Josh Giddey puts up a triple-double. Yeah, I mean, Giddey has been pretty good, but Julius Randle puts up a triple-double. So we very rarely do you get multiple triple-doubles in one NBA game. And we got it in the Knicks and OKC game. So game stackers galore. We're thrilled to see that happen.
Yeah. There's also these spots where it's like IUPUI, college basketball. They're rostering 6 guys a night. They only have 6 guys on their active roster. And Ben Rasa has had me betting against these guys like crazy. And today, there was an actual team, Illinois-Chicago, that almost lost to a 6-player team in IUPUI. That's how bad of a day it was. Let's just say they didn't cover. Guys, this was an absolute blast. But Ryan, you're always appreciated. I'm Eric Lindquist. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Please smash that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. That goes a long way for us. But yeah, he's Rinpack. He's not having as bad of a night as me. I'm Eric. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.